Snow White, a timeless fairy tale penned by the German brothers Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm in 1812, is renowned for its enchanting narrative. The story revolves around the titular princess, Snow White, who encounters dire circumstances when her father marries a power-hungry queen, leading to a perilous quest to end the queen's malevolent reign. Assisted by the 7 dwarfs and a charming prince who becomes her beloved, Snow White ultimately triumphs over the queen, reclaiming her rightful destiny. This beloved fairy tale has captivated audiences worldwide and inspired numerous adaptations in film, theater, and satire. The tale commences as a queen gazes upon the winter snow while engaged in sewing by the castle window. A minor mishap occurs as she pricks her finger with a needle, and 3 drops of blood fall onto the snow. This sight sparks her fervent wish for a daughter with black hair, lips as red as blood, and skin as fair as snow. Miraculously, her wish materializes, but her joy is short-lived as she tragically passes away shortly after naming her daughter Snow White. When Snow White turns 1, her father, the king, remarries a stunning yet malevolent woman. This new queen possesses a magical mirror housing a spirit that fuels her vanity and offers counsel. Each morning, the queen queries the mirror about the fairest one of all, and the mirror dutifully declares her as such. However, as Snow White matures, the mirror acknowledges her as the fairest, igniting the queen's seething jealousy. Consumed by envy, the queen develops an intense loathing for Snow White and devises a wicked plan. She dispatches a huntsman to lead Snow White into the forest with orders to end her life, insisting upon the return of her heart as proof. The queen's sinister intention is to devour Snow White's heart, believing it will grant her immortality. In the depths of the forest, Snow White pleads for her life, promising to flee the kingdom and feign her demise. Touched by her plea, the compassionate huntsman spares her life and presents the queen with the heart of a wild animal as a substitute. Meanwhile, Snow White wanders deeper into the forest and stumbles upon a cozy cottage inhabited by the 7 dwarfs. Finding them absent, she partakes of their food and seeks rest upon one of their beds. The returning dwarves are met with a scene of chaos and panic in their once orderly home, leading them to suspect a burglary. Venturing upstairs, they discover Snow White, who proceeds to explain her predicament. A mutually beneficial agreement is struck. Snow White will reside with them in exchange for taking charge of the household chores. They also impart a vital piece of advice, cautioning her to reject any strangers who come knocking at their door. The wicked queen, undeterred by her earlier failure, seeks counsel from her enchanted mirror once more. To her dismay, the mirror responds that Snow White is now the fairest of them all, exposing the huntsman's ruse. Determined to eliminate Snow White, the queen devises a new plan and arrives at the 7 dwarfs' cottage in disguise, posing as an elderly peddler. She presents Snow White with a bodice fitted with laces and offers assistance in wearing it. However, the queen maliciously tightens the laces to the point of suffocation, causing Snow White to lose consciousness. Fortunately, the returning dwarves arrive just in time to loosen the laces and save her. Undeterred by her previous failures, the queen returns in the guise of a seller of combs. She gifts Snow White a splendid comb laced with poison, once again causing the princess to faint. The dwarves intervene, removing the poisonous comb before any harm befalls Snow White. In a final, desperate attempt to end Snow White's life, the queen returns in disguise, this time as a pauper. She presents Snow White with a tempting apple containing a deadly poison. Although hesitant, Snow White is reassured when the queen takes a bite from the non-poisoned half. Unfortunately, when Snow White bites into the poisoned portion, she falls into a profound slumber, and the triumphant queen departs. Believing Snow White to be deceased, the dwarves gently place her lifeless body in a glass casket. Sometime later, a dashing prince, while hunting in the forest, comes across Snow White's captivating form. The dwarves recount her story and allow the prince to transport her body to a final resting place. During the journey, a stumble causes the poisoned piece of apple to dislodge from Snow White's mouth, instantly awakening her. Overjoyed to discover Snow White alive, the prince declares his love for her. The prince, deeply in love, extends a marriage proposal to Snow White, and she accepts with joy in her heart. Determined to celebrate their love, they extend an open invitation to all in the kingdom, including the queen herself. Unaware that Snow White is alive, the queen, driven by her insatiable vanity, consults her magic mirror once more. To her surprise, the mirror cryptically replies, naming the prince's bride as the fairest of all, leaving the queen perplexed. Resolute in her quest to investigate further, the queen attends the grand wedding ceremony. As she gazes upon the bride, Snow White, she can no longer contain her envy and malice. However, just before she can execute her wicked plan to disrupt the celebration, the prince uncovers her true identity as the malevolent poisoner of Snow White. Without hesitation, he denounces her as an enemy of the kingdom. In a swift and fitting retribution, the prince subjects the treacherous queen to a cruel punishment. He forces her to dance in iron slippers that have been heated in a scorching fire, inflicting unbearable agony upon her. The queen meets her demise during the wedding festivities, allowing the celebration to continue in joyous harmony without her presence. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.